I mean, I kind of look on the internet, you know, explore sort of downloading, stealing music. I'm very into that because I think that, you know, years ago you had these great record shops that, you know, you could go to and there'd be some freaky guy that knew all about, you know, what was in and what was coming. You don't have that anymore. So I think the internet is the place where you kind of go now to find interesting things. But I don't look at the pop charts, you know, because things like MTV, it's not really about music anymore. You know, I love Beyonce, but not 55 times a day, you know.
Is it quite weird looking back how it has all turned out now? I mean, it's just sort of huge icon.
Well, I don't really feel like that. I don't sort of get up in the morning and think, oh, how's Icon feeling today? I mean, I just, you know, to me, you know, my life is really just getting on with what I'm doing now, you know. Yeah. I mean, I've never, you know, a lot of people that are close to me think that I kind of willfully avoid success. And it's not really the case. It's just that I've always kind of done things for my own personal reasons. I mean, I know I've got a good voice. I know that if I probably did what a lot of other people did and sort of found the right producer, the right record, and made that record, I could have, you know, a successful career. But I guess I'm just, you know, not interested in kind of doing things unless I want to do them. So I exist over here.
Yeah.
And it's a weird thing because people talk about me like I'm an icon, but I don't get any airplay. You know, everything about me is kind of, you know, sort of referred to in kind of past tense, which I find really odd. So I don't think of myself as an icon. I think of myself as someone who's working, constantly kind of, you know, fighting against people's kind of ideas of who I am and where I should be, you know.
Were you annoyed with, like, because I would come from a news channel and I did the art side of things, but there's a whole of the news side of things. Were you annoyed at how the news media treated you with that whole community service thing, all that rabble? Was that sort of okay at the time?
I expected it, really.
Yeah.
It's kind of what they do.
Yeah, just sort of feed off that kind of stuff.
I didn't really take it personally. I mean, it was just that for the first kind of day, you know, obviously I reacted, I guess, as I would have expected myself to, because I was trying to sweep up the streets and people were taking my picture. But once I realised that I was giving them what they wanted, then obviously I thought, this is not going to make it any easier by being a queen. Yeah. So I decided just to get on with it and ignore them, and it made it a lot easier.
Okay. And look, for someone that's seen a lot, obviously, of the industry...
That's my water.
There's no water. Did any water come in?
If I was Elton John, I'd have left by now.
Okay, we're just about there. For someone that's seen, I guess, a lot in the day, what do you think of pop music, like modern pop music today? Is it something that...
I don't think it's really a place where you can be experimental anymore. So for someone like me, it's not that easy, because, you know, my whole kind of reason for being creative is to express myself and to kind of, you know, have arguments with the world, or you know, just kind of express ideas that are probably contrary to a lot of other people's. And I think that when I got into music, you know, around the time of Ziggy Stardust and glam rock and all that kind of thing, there was still a lot to discover. And I think we've reached the point now where we know how to make the perfect pop star. We know all the formulas to put together to create the perfect band. So where's there to go creatively? I think it's kind of depressing time for music, really.
Have you got any ideas of where it could go?
Where I go is the internet. You know, I download my stuff for free. I give my music away. I mean, on YouTube, I've probably about 57 videos of unreleased material. And in a way, because I feel that music is all about making money now. Everybody wants the fur coat. Yeah. So really the kind of natural thing to do for me is just to say, have it. You know, and eventually I pray that record companies will be no more, you know, and that people will actually be able to access music, you know, through the internet or whatever, without having to go through radio stations or MTV or corporate kind of organisations, which really do stifle creativity, especially for people like me. It's a nightmare.
Yeah. Well, it shouldn't be too far off, hopefully.
Well, you know, YouTube is good. I mean, I've had more attention on YouTube in the last 6 months than I have from MTV, radio, or any other kind of medium that is supposed to be there to support my art form. So, you know, I think really that's, in a way, the most punk rock thing you can do is give it away. Because you've got people like Madonna, they number every record. It's always the bands that sell the most records that always are paranoid about people downloading and stealing. And it's always the kind of alternative artists who are less concerned about those things.
Yes.
You've got Bono saving the world and then suing his stylist for stealing a hat, you know. So, what's it all about, Alfie? I think also nowadays, what does it mean? what does it mean to be famous?
What does it mean to you?
Well, I think that, you know, if you want to get really deep...
Come on.
I guess I foolishly thought that once I became famous, everyone would love me again. But you find yourself being judged, you know, in different ways, you know, and that doesn't stop. You know, you play up to this idea of who you are. But of course, all human beings are a multitude of you know, facets and complications, and I'm much more than what people think I am, but there is a kind of indelible idea of who Boy George is, and I really struggle constantly to get beyond that.
That is the most perfect and beautiful quote. Really.
Well, I worked on it.
I
was up all night.
The media seem to be completely obsessed with you in the way that you're so free and that you talk about your sexuality, you talk about your sex life. You've been quoted as saying you have a wonderful duvet with names of men you've slept with and a
lot
pillow,
of that,
you know,
a lot of that is provocative and me
are you playing,
joking.
Playing with us a bit?
Playing with you because I think that, you know, really people don't really want to know the truth. You know, they want everything to be a soundbite. They want you to be tragic or, you know, or comical or fluffy or whatever, yeah. And I could be all of those things, but that doesn't mean that's all I am. But unfortunately, I think when you're in the public eye, and I have noticed, you know, in the last couple of years, and I've recently taken a vow of silence on talking about other artists, because I found myself just being this kind of quip and a hat, you know, and I'm far more than that, you know. And I sort of realised that that's my job now, to make people realise I am a creative person, and I'm not some funny bloke that comes out and slags Madonna off.
Yeah, you know? Absolutely.
I think I'm the only person that seems to realise the 80s are over. I'm not interested in the 80s whatsoever. I mean, it was great, you know, what happened. And I think the interesting thing about that period is at the time everybody hated the 80s. And now everybody fucking loves it. It's like, make your minds up.